Welcome back! My name is BALLERSCUBA. This is Video Games Over Time. We are still in 1983. Today, we're going to talk about the Star Wars arcade game. As you might suspect, the Star Wars arcade game is based on the Star Wars film. We have talked about Star Wars before in its own video. If you have not seen the film and do not want its plot spoiled, there will not be much for you in this video. Thank you for your interest, and I hope to see you in the next video. The Star Wars arcade game was designed by Atari. We of course have kept up with Atari throughout Video Games Over Time. We most recently talked about Atari in our video on the video game Crash of 1983. The Star Wars arcade game started as a vector-based shooter named Warp Speed. This was initially designed by Ed Rotberg, who was responsible for Battlezone. Rotberg left Atari in 1981. Atari then signed a licensing agreement with Lucasfilm for the rights to Star Wars, so the game was adapted to match the Star Wars film. The Star Wars arcade game is a shooter. The player plays as Luke Skywalker in his X-Wing, in a first-person perspective. The game has 3 distinct phases based on the film's climax. In the first phase, the player has to fight off the enemy TIE fighters, led by Darth Vader. Should the player survive long enough, the player will go directly to the third phase. In the third phase, the player will fly through the trench of the Death Star. The player must navigate the trench and fire at the exhaust pipe, which explodes the Death Star. The player will get bonus points if they use the Force by only firing at the exhaust pipe. After the third phase, the game will send the player back to the first phase. Starting with the second time through the phases, the player will unlock the second phase, which takes place, as you might expect, between the first and third phases. After fighting off the TIE fighters, the player will then fly across the surface of the Death Star, heading to the trench of the third phase. Atari released the Star Wars arcade game to arcades in North America on May 5th, 1983. Atari also released the game to arcades in Japan in May 1983 and the United Kingdom in 1983. That is the short backstory to the Star Wars arcade game. With that now told, it's time to play the game for ourselves. And here we are in the game. This is the Star Wars arcade game. As you can see, we start here on the high score screen. It's Princess Leia's Rebel Force. As you can see, Obi-Wan and Han are dominating the screen. I will not be making the high score list today. That's just not going to happen. I can at least get through a single phase, but I can't get close to what they're doing. As we see a scroll, let's go ahead and read the story. Obi-Wan Kenobi is gone, but his presence is felt within the Force. The Empire's Death Star, under the command of Darth Vader, nears the rebel planet. You must join the rebellion to stop the Empire. The Force will be with you, always. This is a relatively difficult game. Flight instructions to Red 5. Your X-Wing is equipped with an invisible deflector shield that will protect you for 8 collisions. Deflector strength is lost when a fireball impacts your shield or when you strike a laser tower or trench catwalk. Aim your lasers with the cursor to explode Empire TIE fighters, laser tower tops, and trench turret. Shoot fireballs before they impact your shield. The Rebel Force is depending on you to stop the Empire by blowing up the Death Star. Yeah, it's basically the climax of the film. If you watch the film, you'll probably know exactly where we are and why they chose this. But here's the scoring. I will try to get some of them. I can guess the TIE fighters. Darth Vader ship I've never been able to get. You can tell because it's got the angled sides. You can get the exhaust port for 25,000. Destroying all tower tops? That's insane to me. I will not be doing that. It is, I assume, the second phase that they're talking about there. Either way, I'm not going to destroy any of all the stuff. So let's go ahead and put a quarter in and see what I can do. I should be able to do at least easy here. Come on, there we go. All right, so we're on easy. I got one. All right, shoot the fireballs. Shoot the TIE fighters. Come on. Oh, somehow missed you. I'm just gonna go ahead and mash the 2 buttons that they have for the firing. And just kind of hope for the best. Once again, you don't have to destroy all these, you just have to survive. And we do get some voice synthesis from the original film. Alright, I'm going to try to use the Force. I already got hit. I'm going to try to use the Force here. That was not fair. That was so fast. We'll see what I can do to use the Force. And just go through without destroying anything here.
Luke, trust me.
Yeah, they come at you fast here. Alright, I think we're good.
Yahoo! You're all clear, kid.
I missed it? No! I thought I got it. I thought I had it. I think I was a little late on it. As I keep on losing more shields. This is not working out well. I've done much better runs of this before. But we'll see what I can do.
Luke, trust me.
Losing so many shields. I will not be making it through the second phase at this rate, I don't think. The second...
Yahoo! You're all clear, kid.
There we go. And I don't get any bonus points for using the Force. If you want the bonus points for using the Force, you have to do it on the first try. But that was pretty close to what I was doing. Alright, they give me 1 point added to the deflector shield, and now we're gonna do much harder. As you can see, they start with 3 this time instead of just the 1 fire. Alright. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Alright. Come on. They're firing at me so quickly. You guys were not this good in the film. And Darth Vader shows up just to go away. Alright, we want to go down here. Just down. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to destroy the Death Star this run. I think this is the part... Wow.
Remember, the Force will be with you.
Let's try this again. That was bad. That was a bad run.
Standing by.
Okay. 1 down. 2 down. Come on. I thought I could get that one, but somehow I missed it. Alright, there's 3. Alright, we got that one.
Red 5, I'm going in.
Alright, we're gonna head back to the trench.
Use the Force, Luke.
And I'm going to use the Force this time. What, nobody wants to shoot at me? There we go. My strategy is just wait for them to shoot and then go to the complete opposite, you know, up and down. And I still got hit. Twice. Jeez. Usually I can get through this without even getting hit once.
You're all clear, kid.
Alright, 5,000 points for using the Force. There we go. I can do it. Alright, we got 1 point back, and I feel like we're doing okay, but if you look at the high score list, we are not. I need to get like 300,000 just to make the list. Thought I got that one. Okay, we got that one.
I have you now.
Darth Vader is here and could not be hit.
5, I'm going in.
Alright, so now we're on the surface. Once again, I like to go for the bottom here. I think I hit here. Okay. Now we're at the bottom. I should have an easier time. Just start going left, right, and that's how you can get a lot of the turrets. But how do you get all of them? I'm not entirely sure. Not also sure what hit me there. Was it the fireball? Wow, I am seriously doing bad on this phase. Alright, but we have made it where I needed to go. I don't see how you can do this without without firing. Using the Force at this phase or anything higher to me is insane.
Let go.
No. No, fire. Just constantly fire. I do not have the force.
Force is strong, citizen.
Alright, shield is gone, but I have destroyed another Death Star. That should put me at over 100,000 points, right? It does. But I get one shield back, and now we go to a harder phase. A harder wave, I should say. Look at this! I'm just spamming and hoping for the best at this point.
I can't shake it.
Yeah, I can't do anything here. Wow, they're just spamming right back at me. Spending all my time killing all the fireballs here. I don't have time to hit them.
Red 5, I'm going in.
Alright, we're gonna go back to the Death Star with my one shield, and this is like my worst one so far. Alright, now we're just avoiding this, so... There's the tower tops that they were talking about, but... good luck with that. Yeah, I got hit twice there.
The force will be with you.
So that's probably the best that I'm going to be able to do. I made it to the third wave, second phase. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do too much better than that. So that is the game now played. And with the game now played, it's time to talk about how it holds up today. Playing the game today, I do have to say that the game is fun, if difficult. The game is trying to replicate the climax of the Star Wars film. The Star Wars film is fun, so it's no surprise that this is also a fun game. With that said, the difficulty does act as a deterrent for me. I feel that I am decent at these kinds of games. I'm by no means good or great, but I feel like I'm decent at these kinds of first-person shooters, and I struggled with this one. It feels like I'm just being bombarded with enemies and things to shoot at, and I can't quite get the controls where I want them to be. I can't spam the attack, the fire button quickly enough in order to actually fight off everything that's coming my way. It doesn't necessarily feel like I have as much agency in my movement as I would like as well. But when it comes to this game's difficulty, it can be mastered. To an extent that I would say is pretty insane. I tried to look up high scores for the game. There are several different criteria, therefore several different high scores. So I won't go over all of them. Let's just say that if you master the game, you can put a single quarter in and play for 48 to 52 hours straight on that single quarter. It is pretty crazy what people are able to do in this game, and I am nowhere close to that. So you have to kind of take my opinion with a grain of salt as somebody that is not particularly good at the game. But I think I can do a decent job at it. But like I said, the game does seem difficult. In terms of how it ages, I think that the gameplay ages the best out of anything. It is something that feels like the film. You feel like you're fighting the TIE fighters on the approach to the Death Star. It feels like you're kind of flying over the Death Star, although the second phase is probably the least best of the bunch. And then it really does feel like you're in the trench of the Death Star trying to take out the exhaust port. And it really is difficult to get that timing right on the exhaust port when you first start. But that's something that, of course, will come with time. In terms of the graphics, I'm not a huge fan of vector-based graphics, so for me, I feel that the vector-based graphics did not age as well as some of the other parts. I think it's going to be a harder push for somebody that has not played older games, is not familiar with the vector graphic style. I think it's going to be a harder push to get a modern player to play this game because of the vector graphics. But for vector graphics, they were done well. It actually looks like everything that it's supposed to look like. It looks like the little things on top of the Death Star. It looks like the Death Star trench. It looks like the X-Wings. It looks like Darth Vader's X-Wing. That all... it all tracks well. It does look like what it is supposed to look like. And like I've said before, at the time, that was not always the case. So the graphics are done well for the time. I just think that the vector style did not necessarily age well, and they went for vector. So it works then. I'm not sure it works necessarily now. You don't see a lot of vector-based games coming out these days. In terms of sound, I think that the sound that came from the film, the replication of the lines, the voiced lines from the film, I think that worked out well. But I'm not entirely sure how well the rest of the sounds in the game worked. The firing of the lasers, the fireballs coming at you when you get hit. I'm not necessarily sure how well that worked out. And to be honest, there were definitely times that I got hit and I did not necessarily hear a sound that made me go, oh, I got hit. I had to look up to see how many, shields basically I had left, because the game didn't necessarily tell me in terms of sound. So I'm not sure that aged all that well either, but the fact that they were able to put voiced lines in the game, I think more than makes up for that. So overall, I think that the game is fun. It's worth checking out a little bit, mostly if you are a fan of older games, a fan of Star Wars, but it didn't necessarily age particularly well, and I think it's going to be a hard push for a modern audience, for somebody that's not familiar with what was going on at the time. I think it's going to be a hard push to get them to play the game. In terms of replayability, I think for me it's a little bit lower than most. I don't particularly want to go in and try to get better at the game, simply because that learning curve does seem to be pretty steep, and I'm not one to try to tackle that. But if that is not something that scares you off, then this game will have a high replayability for you. And that's my modern take on the game. When the game was released, it proved to be successful. Atari would sell over 12,000 arcade units, becoming one of the best-selling arcade cabinets of 1983. The critics were also positive about the game. In particular, the game was praised for its graphics, sound, and gameplay. As time has gone on, the game's reception has remained positive. The Star Wars arcade game often makes best video games of all time lists. It has been argued that the Star Wars arcade game is the best licensed video game of all time. The Star Wars arcade game would spawn several ports. We will keep an eye on these as we continue. While the game would prove to be a success, Atari would continue to struggle in 1983. We will continue to talk about Atari as we move forward as well. That will do it for the story of the Star Wars arcade game for now. My name is BALLERSCUBA. This has been Video Games Over Time. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in our next video when we pick up the pieces.